Okay, so basically we're just going to pick up from where we left off, and let's just talk about all the stuff that we went through in lesson 1 and really help the mind understand these concepts so it remembers them. And these are pretty simple. Okay, so we knew that to put the head down, we knew that we could just draw a line for the brow area, right? And knowing that where this the upper area for the eye socket is, we could just put the line in for the fat area over here and then just draw away, and it would make sense, right? And we would take this line going in this direction, specifying that we get the concept that this part is going to be dark and it's going to go from above here is where we're going to understand that it bulges out. Then you get that area for the middle of the head over here, where the middle of the brow meets. Then you get the nose over here. Okay, so let's just talk about this line. So we knew that we drew this line specifying that we're going to keep an eye out for this concept of knowing that right in when we draw the human head, we're going to know about understanding the concepts of these lines, I guess, understanding it in a 3D form, that knowing that right we need to keep our shading at least in this angle here. It doesn't have to be specifically on this line. It's just understood that we gotta keep an eye out for this. Okay, so this is that, and we also know that this area here for the jaw, right, it's much more out from this guy, right? This is just understood, and we'll look at this when we draw it from the front view as to how these new understandings change the way we draw the human face. Okay, so the other thing was, we know that this area here where the lip is, right, this lip and this area here is it's much more protruded out, and this lip here goes away from us, right? So this is more in front and this is more back. And we understood the concept of drawing those right where you had drawn the line for the nose, right? You could draw you could divide this in 3 parts, right? And this above line, above this is the upper lip, and you start to draw that upper lip, and when you want to finish it off, it's going to come down to the middle of this, exactly where the bottom lip is, right? And this thing is going to end where the middle of the eye is over here. Okay, this thing right here. Okay, and we also knew that for when we drew the bottom lip, it was going to be halfway between this, which automatically gave you the space underneath it, right, which is usually dark and has a bulge of its own. So meaning that this bulge here that we drew, right, it came away from this point here. It wasn't against this point, it was away from this point, right? More towards the left when I drew it. Let me do a close-up of this for a second. Right, so here's what I did. I had this, let's say I had this in a simple design. We had this lip over here, right, and this was the line that was going, right, and then we had the other line over here, right, and this is where the line for the nose was. So when we drew this shape here for the fat for the lip, and when we started to go down, we came down this way and we gave it a nudge, right? So this gave us the lip, and then this was the bottom of the lip, and we knew that this is much more flatter from the structure of man, and then you get that bulge area over here. So what I'm saying is that this bulge area here, I drew it towards the left, right, specifying that that's how it is. It doesn't come over here. Okay, and this is going to be your bottom lip over here, and then you're going to get your chin area over there. Okay, so the other thing to note is we know about this center line that we drew, which gave us the bottom for the nose automatically, right? And then we also knew that, right, the ear is going to end over here. And when we drew the area where we got the fat system, and we drew the brow area, we drew the eyebrows above a little, right? So the eyebrows are going to be different. This is something you're going to have to obviously look at, and you can design them any way you want. So in this simple form, we know that the eyebrows go up, and once we do this, we know that the top of the ear is going to go meet on this eyebrow area over here. Okay, and the other thing is, when you drew the eyebrows over here, you have to take into account this fat system here, right? And then you have to take into account this muscle on top of the eyebrow that specifies the fatness over here. So you can look at your face in the mirror and you'll start to see all this stuff automatically yourself, right? So this helps us to understand, right? So when we're drawing it in a 3/4 view, we're also going to understand that when we drew the eyebrow over here, we're going to compensate for the fat system, and then we have to go above for this fat area over here that gives us a nice bulge over here, and then the forehead goes over in this direction, right? And of course this area here is a little bulky over here too, and this is like on a curve, right? But then you put the hair on it. The second and the other thing was that where this corner for the eye was, if you drew a line over here, you knew that it's going to have to hit where the nostril is, generalizing it, right? And this would give you accurate faces. So the nostril would come here, and then you could just go about your business and put the nose together. You know, it's not going to be a line like this. It's going to be a little flattish over here, right? And we know that you can also have a little curve over here, giving you that nice jawline over here. And then you'll get into that neck area over here, but then you'll get the muscles over here, and we'll get into that later. But these are like some of the most universal understandings of getting the face, drawing it. When you're drawing it, you should be thinking about this. Okay, so in the next lesson, what we're going to do is take this information and see how does this help us to now draw from the mind much more freely. So hope you join me for that. Thanks.